Yeah. Can you dig it? What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the show. Welcome to Untethered Live in Studio C. You're back. I'm back. We're back. We got smiley faces behind me. What's happening, everybody? Oh, I hope everything is working according to plan. See echo. Is the echo gone? I think I fixed it. Hey, Kev. Hey, Sasquatch. OBS had a debilitating update. That's better? Okay, good. Yeah, I had my desktop audio running at the same time. For some reason, it doesn't like that. Hey, April, how are you? Welcome back. This is Untethered Live, ChillStream on a Friday night, Takedown night. I'm fired up. I'm ready to rock and roll. Woohoo. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, it's good to be here. A little confusing weekend, but we're through it. Everything's good. Whew. Sounds good. Sounds great, actually. Excellent. Listen to this. Can you hear that okay? I've been working on the sound stuff. She's got eyes that it seems to me reminds me of childhood memories where every day was as fresh as some kind of sky. Now and then when I see her face, it takes me away to that special place. And if I stay there too long, probably break down and cry. Child of mine. Oh, sweet love of mine. How's that sound? Sound all right? Are we getting there? Is it good? Excellent. Long live Untethered, yeehaw! You go, Jake. Yes, I hear it. Sounds terrific. I'm super excited. Me too. Me too. You're kind of choppy, or is that me? I hope it's you, because I'm working my ass off trying to get it to sound right. You're getting choppy video. It may just be because, slow internet. According to... Yeah, I probably could lower my bit rate a little bit. I got a red box. Warning, my bit rate 70. Open widget. Well, you can't win everything. I can't really change it at the... I don't think I can. Let me see. I may get kicked off because I'm messing with my settings, but I'm trying to get it right. OMG, Kev, go drown yourself in bourbon. Gosh, jeez, that's harsh. All right, let's see if I can change these video. Yep. Output. That might help. Or skip it. Too late, you brought it up. I don't know. That's about as good as I could do at the moment. I may have to stop and come back. But at least I'm back in my studio. That's the important thing. I'm very happy about that. Super, super happy. And the background is just a picture, so it should not affect the bit rate whatsoever. Kevin says, 1 bourbon, 1 scotch, and 1 beer. Hey, look how long it's been since I've done this. We got a sports update from Kevin Cox. The Devil Rays 0, KC Royal Ass Lockers 2. Go Rays. I can't see that well. Anyway. Hey. I got to put my pantyhose on? Are you walking around pantyhoseless? That's an image I don't want in my brain. With it all just hanging out. Ugh. I'm going to get some watermelon rum. Oof. Go ahead. What are we going ahead and doing? I'll close out some more stuff, see if I can get it to. YouTube is not receiving. Maintain a smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience ... All right. Well, that's about as good as I can do. I dropped it down a lot. If it goes any lower than that, I fear I won't get any video out at all. So maybe this is good enough for the time being. Just let me know how it turns out, okay? So while at the beach, I'm going to try and find some YouTube folks around. It's good, Jake. Okay. Well, I don't know if it's good or not, but we're going to go with it. That's the way it's got to be for the time being, so we're going to do it. Hey, I asked you to call me the other night after your live stream. How come you didn't call me? Kind of needed to talk to you. I know you got my text because you responded to it, but you didn't call me. Got another sports update from Kevin Cox. The college polls have the Alabama Gaytides at 1 and Ohio State Bucky Nuts at 2. Georgia the Beautiful Bulldogs at 3. Same as last year. Guess how that ended. Go Dogs, go Dogs, go Sasquatch, go Dogs. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. So maybe that's better anyway. I dropped down the bit rate a little bit, so hopefully it'll be. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy, bless my soul. I'm a walking, talking Tootsie Roll. Anyway, it's only my first day back. And, you know, things are going to be choppy. I'll get it fixed over the weekend. I've been playing with it all afternoon, getting it set up and re-updated because I hadn't used it in so long. Everything was out of date. So I had to update that, and then I had to fix a few things that didn't work anymore when the new updates came in. So I got that fixed. Now apparently the bit rates have changed because it used to work fine, and now it's choppy. So I'll fix that. I'll get on it, find out what the best bit rates are to use, and use them. Oh, I've been busy running around crazy. I'm sorry. Still sounds great. Good. Well, at least you can hear me. You can always close your eyes and pretend I'm, Brad Pitt or somebody. Hey, I've never looked so good. Look at my abs. Well, this is what I wanted to ask you. So I'll ask you here. Maybe you'll give me an answer. I noticed that you did a show with American Justice over the weekend. I'm wondering if it came up. She sent me an email last week sometime and asked me to do a video for her. And I said, it's your song. I gave it to you. Use it how you want to. She said, yeah, but I want to use you in a video. I said, okay, fine. When do you want to do it? This was at Wednesday night, I believe it was. She says, Saturday at noon. I said, okay. So Saturday at noon, I got on YouTube and started my podcast because I figured she'd pop in, as a random thing. It wasn't a scheduled podcast. It was just me being available, here. I'm here. I'm ready to make videos. At noon, no sign of her. So I texted her. I think I texted her. Can't remember if I texted her or if she showed up. Either way, she showed up and said, I'm an hour behind you, silly. I said, oh, I didn't even think about that. Of course, you're in Texas. You're an hour behind me. I didn't think about it. So I said, okay, well, I'll just continue what I'm doing. And when you're ready, send me a text or hop on here and let me know and we'll get started. Ghosted. Not another word. To this moment, not one more word. I have no idea what happened. I texted her 2 or 3 times. She didn't respond. I came on your show that night. She never said a word to me. She came there, but she didn't speak to me. And I wasn't going to bring it up because I'm not professional, I'm not trying to start any shit. I just wanted to know what was up. Not a word. Total ghosted. What the hell happened? I'm oblivious. I have no idea. All I know is she wanted me to do a video and then nothing. So tell me if that came up and if you know. Because I don't. I got my new V8 box today. Excellent. I don't know what that is, but I like it. Y'all hit that like button, pretty please. Much love, says April. Thank you, dear. Yes, I saw it too. I haven't watched it yet. Well, you should watch it. What are we talking about? When I see Brad Pitt in the movies, I am often confused. Is that Jake? Ha 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 ha. Where the confusion is. She's a bit scattered on things. Does that to me too. Yeah, but this was specific. It wasn't I forgot. I just spoke to her. Like, right then. Right when we were supposed to get together. Like 30 minutes. She said she was waiting on her kids to get picked up or something and she'd be right with me. Nothing else. And then that night she didn't say anything. So I assume, and she told you, she said something to the effect of, I've got things we'll talk about backstage, but nothing I want to talk about here. I assumed that was pointed at me. I could be wrong, though. I could have read into that, but that's the way it felt. And then I was having so much internet trouble that I couldn't stay and listen to the rest of the conversation, so I just went ahead and went to bed. But anyway, I would like to know what the hell happened. I consider her a nice girl. I don't want to piss her off. I have a tendency of doing that and not realizing it. So, so she does that to you too, huh? Okay. If you say it's nothing. It didn't feel like nothing. I'm just saying. If I get a chance to speak to her again, I'll ask her to her face. I'm not, talking about her behind her back. I'm sure she'll see this eventually if she watches my show, and maybe she'll respond. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't intend to hurt anybody's feelings or piss anybody off, and I was trying to be Johnny on the spot where you wanted me to be, so whatever. I carved out a whole day for her, and I didn't get nothing but ghosted, so, Don't take it personally. I don't know what that was about. I don't either. Don't sweat it, Jake. I'm not sweating it. I just don't like leaving things open-ended. I'm autistic or something, Asperger, or I've got problems. I don't do... it bothers me. Weighs on me. I went much later than expected, but I never heard whatever it was. Okay, I just thought I'd ask. If I work out like it should have worked out, and it left me puzzled. I didn't intentionally do anything wrong. Whatever. I doubt it was like that. She's got crappy stuff, but I don't know what. Okay, look, I'm not mad at her or anything. I just didn't know what the deal was. Now, if it turns out that she ghosted me and, is being mean, then yeah, I'd be mad about that. But I assume that, shit happens. I get it. Shit happens to me all the time. I had a flat tire that day, and I'm still stranded. It'll be a week before I can afford to get it fixed. Sign into chat. Into chat. What are you talking about? Sign into chat. I'm not. I guess that's if I wanted to type something. Well, I'm gonna leave it alone. Be done mess something up. Got me, man. Well, I just thought I'd ask. I didn't know if you might know something I didn't. Maybe she'll pop in tonight and I can ask her. Anyway, I got some pretty cool stuff planned for tonight. I got a takedown video. I was going to listen to some Matt Dillahunty and see what he's got to say about the greater ideals on religion and Christianity, and see if we can come to some middle ground, or if I can dig a hole, baby. So on to business. Bring it on. How busy are you this week? Other than work and podcasts, not really. I got a show next weekend and a doctor's appointment on Friday. I think it's Friday, the 25th, whatever day that falls on. Other than that, I'm good, but whatever you need, I'll carve out a minute for you. You know that. All you got to do is ask. I'll figure out something. What you got on your mind? What you got on your mind? As my mommy used to say. I'm so happy to be again. It's so lovely. And a background, not all green. It's not easy being green. Ah! But that's in the morning, so I do have a podcast Wednesday night. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and Saturday, I'm busy. But I can find moments on either side of those things. I'll be on Edisto Island, and I'm sort of planning a trip to meet some folks, but I don't know how far yet. Well, if you're on Edisto Island, you'd have to come a long ways to come see me. Loving the smileys. Thank you. You like that? How about this? We can get even closer. You can see the expression of my eyebrows when I talk. How you like that? This is what I call my serious frame when I get up and personal with you. I'm really making a point right now, see? I'm going to come back over here. This is the one with my lower thirds, which now work. There's Danny near Greenville. Which Greenville? North Carolina or South Carolina? And North Carolina Tire Hunter, not far from you. I didn't realize he was in North Carolina. I guess it's in the name, but I didn't pay attention to that. And back out. I love it. But I don't want to sign into the chat. I had a poll going, but I guess it disappeared. I guess I didn't do that right. It froze mostly when you zoomed. Did Did it freeze for you, April? South Carolina. Okay. Well, that sucks. Let's try it again. Everybody let me know if this freezes for you. I got choices, I guess. Did it freeze for you again, Caucasian? Nice. April says it's not freezing for her. I just don't know about a feller. What about this? Does that work for you? Yes, it did freeze for a sec, says April. Okay. Well, that's more than likely my bit rate, and I'll fix that later on. It's not doing what I want it to do exactly, but I'll get it right. I haven't used it in quite a while, so it's going to take a little, warming up and beating the rust off to get her going. Got to set that poll up just after the live launches. That may be what I did wrong. I did set it up prior to the live stream. I feel like Doctor Who right now. Right. Back to that. That's so nice. I'm almost scared to try and play a video then. It'll probably freeze on me. It's a good Mountain Dew. Yes, bit rate. I'll have to do that when I get home. Do what? I like that. I like it too. I'm just scared it's going to mess with the bit rate and throw everybody off. Let me see if I can play a little of this video. Bring us over here. Let me come, because I'm going to light up some, let's see. This is, do I look like a hopelessly uneducated Neanderthal to you? How about that? I did update everything. Fix it. I'm working on it. Sheesh. I can't fix it while I'm live streaming, so I have to do it afterwards. But I will fix it. Thank you, sir. This is Matt Dillahunty. Must always talk trashy. Matt Dillahunty. Do I look like a hopelessly uneducated Neanderthal to you? Yes. Yes, you do. Let's find out.
Raise problematic verses where God, in this, when Moses is trying to free his people from slavery, something which almost certainly didn't happen, but it would say Pharaoh was ready to let everybody go, and then God.
Can you hear that or see it? Sorta. Kevin was playing when I said that, by the way, love. I figured. Pairs well with Hudson bourbon. Good. How about the video? Could you see it? Could you hear it? I'll try it again.
Hardened Pharaoh's heart. Now, if you read through that entire process, what happens is Moses wants Pharaoh to let his people go. Pharaoh says no. So, okay, here's a plan.
Stop right there, Matt Dillahunty. Pharaoh did not say no. Pharaoh said no because that was what his heart led him to say when God hardened his heart. Understand? And did not want to go in there and ask Pharaoh to let his people go. He was working on instructions from God. Are you getting the picture here? It's two sides of the same coin. Both people are being puppeted by God at this moment. Why? To demonstrate that he is God to the people. Who are the people? The Israelites, who are right now just Hebrews held captive as slaves in Egypt and to prove it to the Egyptians too. You see, the Egyptians could become Christians also. They chose not to. So God gave them the strong delusion that they asked for. This is a theme in the Bible. This is not God being mean. This is God letting you get what you ask for.
Oh, I'll let him go now. And then it says, God hardened Pharaoh's heart after he was willing to let him go.
Yes.
And then had him refuse. Now,
okay, you just contradicted yourself. Either you understand it or you don't. I suspect you're like the last atheist that I tore apart, full well understanding the text and yet misleading the people you're talking to by making it sound like something else.
that seems to me to be a violation of free will, if in fact anybody believes in that.
It's not a violation of free will because God gave you free will. That means he can manipulate it if he wants to. You misunderstand the authority of God. You seem to think that you have a choice in the matter. God created you. He can destroy you. God owns your soul, which means he can give it free will or take it away. It's his prerogative. This is his chessboard. This is his game. We are just pawns in it, which means it's not a violation of anything.
Go and God's like, hey, I'm not done showing off just yet.
Yes.
I got 9 more of these bitches to come at you.
Yes. All right, that was the brief interlude to the intro to this video, which is Matt Dillahunty. Do I look like a hopelessly uneducated Neanderthal to you, Dillahunty?
And I said, isn't it a problem that God is hardening Pharaoh's heart?
No,
well,
it's not a problem. It's God. If he wants to harden Pharaoh's heart, he can. He's God. How is that a problem?
Well, if you read it correctly, Pharaoh is hardening his own heart.
No, that person you were speaking to was wrong. And unfortunately, there's a lot of that in this business because it's so easy to get into. There's a lot of people who seem to think they know what they're talking about who were not necessarily called by God to do the job. What you want is a person like me who did not necessarily want to do this. I'm doing it because I'm being obedient, not because I chose this. I could do much more popular things and be much more K views today. This video will likely get 25 views. So the person you talk to is wrong. Simple.
Hang on. And I open up their Bible, and God hardened Pharaoh's heart.
Their Bible. It's God's Bible. He wrote it. We just borrowed it.
Yes, but if you read it correctly.
Pharaoh's heart. Doesn't matter what any man says. That's what the text says, which means that's what's correct, not what the other guy said. Stop appealing to mass authority.
Pharaoh is hardening his own heart. God hardened Pharaoh. The Bible.
He and I are actually making the same point here. He's not lending the idea that people can be dumb.
Correctly read, that phrase, or some version of it, was uttered a bazillion times that weekend anytime I'd raise an objection to the Bible. The Bible correctly read. Oh, you mean if I agree with your interpretation, then the problem goes away. Well, congratulations. Why on earth should I agree?
In that circumstance, you're referring to being at a seminar full of preachers, and every time you raise an objection to their point, they say, if correctly read, which means, yes, if you stop disagreeing with them, the problem goes away. This is not a problem you're having with the Bible. This is a problem you're having with a seminar full of rednecks who don't know what they're talking about. Do you understand the difference, Matt Dillahunty? Do you understand that by you standing up there protesting the Bible because of something a few people did, and those that do follow you down that rabbit hole, you are misleading one. Don't mean you got to be like one.
With your interpretation, if the book says that God hardened Pharaoh's heart.
A court case is that first you have to demonstrate probable cause.
Yes.
Before you ever get to bother with wasting or spending your time establishing and meeting your burden of proof, you have to demonstrate probable cause before you can have a case. I think this is a debate that's been raging throughout the course of human history, with nobody ever bothering to establish probable cause.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. Are you going to continue stating things that are obvious to everyone, or are you going to make a point?
Laplace, when he brought his book to Napoleon said, "Hey, you didn't include God in this," and Laplace was, and I'm paraphrasing obviously because it's French and stuff, but I had no need for that hypothesis. Hume is easily my favorite, so I was glad when Sloan brought him up earlier. And one of Hume's, there's two.
Laplace, Napoleon, Hume. Are you going to continue appealing to other people's opinion, or are you going to make one of your own?
Two things that Hume said that will stick with me forever. And the first is reject the greater miracle. The other thing he says is that
if anyone is presented with any miracle, regardless of the size, it's a miracle, you moron. You don't accept a miracle, you stand in awe at it when you recognize that you've seen one. None of us have.
Which is, I guess, a little sexist because he included man in there, but we'll let it slide. And we have to use
it.
Thinking, reason. We're all in agreement, I think, of what constitutes making the case.
If it's written in the Bible, it's true. You may have to interpret it. You may be able to recognize its point immediately.
And one of the things that bugs me is that I don't find God as an explanation to have any explanatory power.
Correct. The Bible tells you as much. If you've actually read that book you're holding, then you will know that you must take God on faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. That's Hebrews chapter 11. Get familiar with, ponder on it a little while. You will understand, because you're not permitted to have a physical relationship with God at this point. You can't do that in the flesh. The Bible says so. Can't see God in the flesh. Now, since you're so keen on talking about court cases, you must be familiar with the term first documents, which is a thing that courts use to analyze truth. What does that mean? That means that you got to believe in something eventually, or you're an idiot. Only a moron believes in nothing. So at some point, somewhere down the path, there's a verified fact that you can count on to be true. How do you do that? How do you find a fact that you know to be true? Well, you have to reference it from a first document and then have other corroborating documents to back it up. That's second and third documents. You understand? The first document being the source, and then other documents being to back it up. Now, when I tell you that all literature, I mean all literature, everything written in the span of human history stands on the back of the Bible as its source. All literature comes from, if you go back, if you draw a line on for other books are crafted. Without the Bible, you have no other documents, period. That being said, Homer, which we take to be a true writing of a true artist, though not from the Bible, every book, we have at least 1,100 copies. And we find more all the time. The Dead Sea Scrolls found a copy of Isaiah written in copper, which was to the letter the exact document that was in the first draft that they found in the original texts. That's the Textus Receptus, the original documents. So the Bible itself, in its entirety, the library that we call the Bible, the lexicon in which it was derived from, is a first document which courts, any court in the land, would accept as factual. In fact, when they want here, the problem is with you and your belief in the documents in which you pretend to uphold. You don't know a thing about court cases. You would lose your tail in a fair court case with a jury of your peers. any day of the week with one arm tied behind my back and half my brain scooped out like ice cream. So,
This appeal of certainty or pretend certainty is neat. But we tend to explain things in terms of other things that we understand to a bigger mystery, for sure. And so, even if
you can't solve a mystery by appealing to authority of the masses, man.
there was not a counter to the particular premise of an argument that you may have accepted, and you can feel comfortable in saying, yep, I accept the premises of that argument, so I'm going to accept the conclusion, and I'm going to keep on believing or keep on not believing, whatever the case may be. You could feel confident in that, but my concern isn't whether or not an idea is comforting, whether or not I'm confident in my understanding. It's about trying to improve my understanding as best I can to fit reality, until such time as there's sufficient hard evidence that a God exists or that aliens are abducting people on this planet. Belief simply isn't justified. And
okay, do you want hard evidence that God exists? Well, first of all, you mentioned aliens. Well, there is no hard evidence of aliens existing because you can't go out and pick one up. I want you to go outside right now, find the nearest big, heavy rock, and pick it up, and then smash yourself in the face with it. And it's proof of God, because that rock is made of material that came from nowhere, meaning it was created by someone or something. That rock is proof that something higher than you exists, and that's something we call God. Now, you can argue all day long about what God is, or what the meaning of God is, or whose interpretation of God is correct, but the fact that there is a God is evident in everything you see with the very eyeballs that are in your head, because they work automatically and they're better than any camera any man's ever produced, and they work from birth every time that they're created on every living human being, with the exception of birth defects, which is a flaw in the matrix, not a flaw in the design.
time to believe it is 1 second after that evidence has been presented.
At the end of that series of debates at the Church of Christ, some strange stuff happened.
Really?
First of all, on Monday I came back just to have a little talk, no debate. And I was approached by some members of the church who let me know that some of the members of the church had gone to the elders and said, hey, why did you bring this guy in our church? Because we think that he was making better points than our guy was making. And because I had stood up, I was expected to never hear from them again, because I stood up on Sunday night at their pulpit in their church and explained to them that if they thought the Bible was a good moral guide, I could prove that that wasn't true.
I'd like to see you do that.
I can write a better moral book than the Bible, and I could prove it to every one of them sitting there, because I could write the damn thing word for word, reverse its position on slavery, and it's already a better book. And I could go through and do this for...
Well, when you do that, you will be sad to understand that God himself abolishes slavery, or admonishes slavery. God is this practice. God stepped in and made certain rules. And by the way, slavery in those days was not predicated on race. So you're making another straw man here, because you seem to think that there's no difference between slavery and the way that it was done in the 1800s and voluntary indentured servitude, which is the way it was done in the biblical days. You see, in those days, men would use servitude as a way to pay off debts, or to buy property, or to any number of things, pay taxes. If they didn't have the money, they would indenture themselves as servitude to a master for, say, 7 years, and their debt would be paid off. The Bible tells you to free period of time. It tells you to treat those servants like a member of the family. It tells you how to use those servants in a proper way, which does not abuse them or you. It's no different in those days than in these days having a job. That's what slavery was in those days. So your entire understanding or your education on slavery is missing a few very important facts, and that has left you vulnerable to being a moron on the subject, and you shouldn't let it utter out of your mouth again, because the slavery that happened in the 1800s is nowhere near what was going on in the old days, which still goes on to this very day in other countries, and some in this country in secret, by the way, that are way worse than what was happening in the Bible ordained by God. So get your facts straight. Actually read that Bible. And by the way, if you think you can write that book, I tell you what, I got a trick for you. Do this. Anything down, one page, just one page of anything. It doesn't matter what it is. And see where it is in a week or a month or 10 years or 50 or 100 years or 500 years or 1,500 years or 2,500 years. You will never see that page again once you lose sight of it. You understand? That's the difference between what you're talking about and what the Bible talked about. The Bible is the best-selling book on the planet to date, has always been, has never lost its number one spot as the best-selling book of all time. Why? Because every word in it is valuable. That's not something that an ordinary man can put together. You understand? In another 1,000 years, nobody will know who Homer is. Nobody will know who Shakespeare is. But they'll have the Bible. I'm just saying.
It's in there that we now know to be wrong.
No, you don't. You don't know anything to be wrong from the Bible. You've not demonstrated one fact that is wrong in the Bible. Because the word slavery is in there, that doesn't make it wrong. What makes it wrong is how it's done. You understand? You go to any African slave anywhere in the world and ask them if it's their choice to be a slave. They'll tell you no. By the way, find out who made them a slave, where they came from, who sold them into slavery. Find out who that is, and you tell me who's right and wrong.
And I didn't expect to hear from them ever again. And instead, what I heard was, hey, why did you invite this guy? This didn't really quite go the way we expected. And so on Monday morning, there were a couple preachers who got up and basically, in the course of their talk, said something like, hey, we've heard from people who are a little concerned that perhaps Matt might have made some better points than our guy. And we just wanted to remind you that this was about having an open dialogue and discussion, and it's not about who wins.
Really? Then why are you bringing it up? Why are you making a point of it? You're obviously trying to break your own arm to pat yourself on the back because you're smarter than some guy in wherever the heck you were. You're not supposed to see if we have the same situation. Come talk to me about your beliefs, and when we're done, see if you feel the same superior attitude that you feel at the moment.
And that was awesome because, I liked hearing it. I liked the fact I am, in fact, a fan of this discussion. I also like to be the one who's making the better points, and it doesn't suck.
I bet.
But then something weird happened.
Did you get
the
struck
guy that
by
I was
lightning?
debating got up and stood at the pulpit and said, and chastised the other preachers for daring to suggest that he had not won the debate and that winning didn't matter. Scolded them from the pulpit.
Did you know that the Bible also says that you can go to hell from the pulpit? You know what that means? That means that whoever's teaching you, if they're not well instructed in the word and well educated in the field they're teaching, that they could send you straight to the grave by following their advice because they're not good at what they're doing. And there's a lot of that in the world. You got to be very careful. That's the very reason organized religion is a problem today. That's the very reason it's falling off and atheism is catching on, because there's too many people with not enough sense doing the teaching. There's too few people that have spent 30 years to learn what's in the Bible, or 40 years. There's people that's been in it for 2 years, go out and start teaching. That's the problem. You need to speak to some real scholars, some real
And then he sat down. And then his brother, who's the main preacher, got up and scolded his brother for scolding the rest of the church. I have come here to pit brother against brother and destroy churches across the land.
I would be very careful at what I touted myself to be. You know who else wants to destroy churches across the land? I wonder if you do.
So how do we go about figuring out what a passage was originally intended to mean?
We stop listening to people like you and pick up the book and read it until we understand it. That's how we do it. Maybe live a little. Maybe learn a few things about life. Maybe go talk to a couple of priests or preachers or people who are scholars of the word if you don't understand a thing. Get more than one perspective. Found it. If I found it, you can fucking don't know what they're talking about. So I'd stop.
We may not have any way of sorting this out. The Bible's a collection of 66 books written by different authors over a rather large span of time, and they may not all have had the same intent. But there's a number of things to consider. One is that a general rule, like thou shalt not kill, can be overridden by a more specific instruction, go out and slay all the Midianites.
No, you are incorrect, sir. The word in the Greek is phonios, which means criminal homicide. That's what the word kill is translated from. Thou shalt not commit criminal homicide. To kill someone in the act of war is not homicide. It's battle. There's a difference. War is justified. You to do it. It's justified. That means that the sin is forgiven. Criminal homicide means to lie in wait. You would understand that it's not the same thing, and it is not a supersession of the previous rule. The rule is do not commit criminal homicide. Don't lie in wait and kill somebody out of malice or forethought. Going out in battle and protecting yourself to the dismay of someone else's life is not criminal homicide. How many soldiers do you know go to prison for murder? Do you know of any? How many presidents do you know have gone to prison for murder? It's not the same thing. You're incorrect, sir.
Without necessarily being a contradiction. A contradiction is when two conflicting instructions are given ostensibly to the same people at the same time in the same scenario, as if they were supposed to both apply in the same way at the same time.
No, apparently a contradiction is when the person speaking, i.e. you, does not know what he's talking about. Therefore, your brain sees it as a contradiction. It is not a contradiction because not involved in that scenario. They don't have anything to do with it. And if God ordained it, it is justified. It is right. That's not, that is war, and it's war that was ordained by God, which means there's a reason for it that you're not aware of, or you might be aware of. But there's a reason for it, which means it's necessary, which means these people are irredeemable. That's why God wants them killed. Irredeemable, on the other hand, means that they cannot be redeemed. They are irredeemable.
Those sorts of instructions where a specific is overriding a general are fairly common. I remember a debate once where the debater pointed out that the instructions to Noah were contradictory because in one chapter, God's telling him to go get 2 of every animal, and in another chapter, he's telling him to get 7.
No, that is incorrect also. God very clearly told him to go get 2 of every flesh, 7 of everything clean, and 2 of everything unclean. Do you understand what this is about? They're talking about these animals and those animals. Those animals are for food and sacrifice. Those animals are for preservation of life. Those animals need to mate, which means there needs to be a pink one and a blue one, according to Kent Hovind. Those animals are for murdering so that you can burn their flesh and eat it. It's called a sacrifice. That's what happens in those days. if you read the text as it is written, then it makes perfect sense, because you need a few animals to live on and a few animals to sacrifice and the rest of them to let off the ark when you get where you're going. It's not a contradiction. You're misunderstanding the text, which means, again, you don't know what you're talking about. You should stop talking.
And a Christian stood up during the Q&A to point out that this isn't a contradiction at all. In fact, the second one's a clarification, that it's just much easier to say, go get me 2 of everything, but also get me 7 of these. And it's just like if I sent you to the grocery store or the convenience store and said, get me 2 of every candy bar, but get me 7 of every candy bar that has nuts.
Not the same thing at all, and you're misunderstanding even the reinterpretation of it for your clarification. Jesus, man, get a life.
It's not a contradiction. And when the instructions are coming that close together, it's clear that I'm offering a clarification. The other thing to consider is that older instructions can be overturned and overruled by newer instructions.
No, that has never happened. There are old instructions that are pertaining to a certain group of people, but then when there's another group, nowhere in the Bible does the Old Testament go out and the New Testament come in. Jesus Christ said, I did not come to change one jot or tittle of the law, but to fulfill it, which means he didn't come to replace the law or to change it or to update it. He came to make it whole. He completed it. He completed it by adding his contribution. Again, you're wrong.
The time span in which the Bible was written means that there may have been some instruction early on that was applicable then that has changed. Is that the case?
No.
Well, I don't know. It's up to the believers who think that there's a...
No, it's not up to the believers. The believers, the onus is on the believer to come to God. It's not the other way around. God exists whether you believe in him or not. His rules are applicable whether you follow them or not. It's not up to the believer. It's up to God, and he made the rules. 10 commandments, you're supposed to follow them. Every human being alive. There are other rules for other people, but the 10 commandments are the main 10 laws. They are the ones that hold society together. They are the ones that you are now actively arguing against. Maybe you want society to fall, because if you don't have the 10 commandments, you don't have society. Hey, Diego, what's happening, brother? Good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the show, and I hope you enjoyed this. I'm doing this in part for you. And please, everybody, hit that big thumbs up, says April. Much love.
New instruction that overrides it to actually make the case for this. This is where we get into discussions about context. You're taking it out of context. The best thing to do is to ask...
No, sir. You are taking it out of context. You can't handle the truth. What? Sorry. Got carried away there.
Then what is the context? Can you explain to me the specifics that you're talking about that allow you to interpret the passage this way?
Yes.
This matter of interpretation comes up over and over and over again. Oh, that's just your interpretation. That's just your interpretation.
That's usually what dumb people say because they can't grasp the concept of the conversation being had. Sorry about that. There are a lot of dumb people in the world on both sides of this argument. I'm not one of them. You shouldn't be either. You sound like you have an education in there somewhere, Matt Dillahunty. Matt, an anagram for must always talk trash. Dillahunty stands for, do I look like a hopelessly uneducated Neanderthal to you? Yes.
The truth is, it's pretty much all interpretation. There are a handful of passages that are very clearly seem to be intended to be read literally. There are others that are metaphorical. There are others...
Yes, those are called parables, and everyone with a brain can see the difference between the two. There are parables, there are prophecies, and there are literal statements
that are generally instructional. There are some that are clearly written, codified set of laws, and there are others that are about the history and about the emotions of the people.
Most of the Bible is history. There's very few parts of the Bible that actually get into the... But there's a lot of history to cover, and you must understand it so that you don't repeat history. The biggest... We just went through the whole Old Testament, and 99% of it is don't worship false idols. That's the biggest thing talked about in the Old Testament. What are you bitching about? Don't worship false idols.
and about worship. And so, of course, it's going to be a matter of interpretation. Is how do we figure out whose is right? We may
Simple. God's is right. Follow the Bible. Don't worry about what you think. Do what the book says do.
not be able to do that. So the best that we can do is ask, what is their justification for the interpretation that they're using? Why?
The only interpretation I use is the one that the King James Version 1611 Bible tells me is the interpretation of it. And I use my education to interpret it thusly. And then I teach it to people who are less educated, because that God put me in this position for that reason.
Do they think it means this instead of something else? And what you recognize is that there's over 1,000 denominations that identify as Christian, and they disagree on pretty much every point of doctrine you can imagine.
Yes, a religion is one's opinion of the truth. You follow me? There are lots of religions. They all pertain to the truth. This little sliver follows this group of people because they believe this way about the Bible. They hold these things to be important, not so much those things. And this little sliver over here wants to, dress up all fancy and wear funny hats. And this little sliver over here, go to Mecca and face the east when they pray, and so forth and so on. And this little sliver over here handles rattlesnakes and likes to shout a lot. And this little sliver over here likes to dance in the aisles and get the Holy Spirit going. It's a religion. Religion is not the same thing as truth. Religion is an organized group of people that seem to act a certain way, a cult, if you will. The truth is the truth. It's not gray, it's black and white. It either is or it is not the truth. And I am not tethered. I am undenominational. And that is what you should be, because that's how you learn the truth. Now, if you want to follow a religion, that's fine. Go find one you like and follow it. But you got to understand the truth if you want to get into heaven. So, religion versus God. You see the difference? Religion ain't going to get you into heaven. God will.
And so what one person in one church thinks this passage means, another person in another church might think it means something completely different.
Yep.
That is the point that you should object to, that this isn't clear. Instead of trying to get...
No, it's clear. You see, when you go to thinking so much, you get that brain rattling around in there, bouncing around all those empty spaces. That's when it gets confusing. If you actually put your nose in that book, I find it very hard to believe that you won't come away with a certain understanding of what's exactly expected of you. I know I do. I don't have any questions at all. None. There are some things I don't understand. There are some things I can't grasp because my brain wasn't intended to grasp them. But the things that are expected of me, I fully well know what to do. The Bible is very clear. A 3-year-old could understand every concept in the Bible, every single one of them. They'll understand that's true. That's something I don't get.
I'm the godless heathen who is telling you what the passage actually means.
No, you are not. You have fooled yourself into thinking you know something you don't actually know. I'm sorry. I think you're a cool dude. I bet we could be friends. We could probably hang out and drink a beer. I don't even drink beer, but I'd hold one while you drank it. But you go to talking about the Bible, and I'd have to sit you down and teach you a thing or two, young man, because you don't know what you're talking about. You are incorrect, sir, and therefore you are teaching incorrect thoughts. Get it right? Jake is speaking. Thank you. Truth. Amen.
If you do that, you better have really good grounds to back it up when you're talking about what the Bible clearly says about slavery, etc. But if you're
the Bible clearly says that slavery is wrong. It's not a sin to death, but it is wrong. It's immoral, if you will. That being said, murder is wrong too, but there's still people that do it. You understand? God didn't endorse or suggest slavery. But he did say if you're going to do it, there's a right way to do it. And this is how. You see the difference?
talking about something that's much more prone to interpretation, It seems to me the better point of our argument is to point out that, yeah, that's their interpretation and somebody else has a different one and somebody else has a different one. How can we tell which one, if any?
And listen to it. God is the authority, not you. You don't get to make the choices. You don't get to say what's right and wrong. You get to do right or wrong. This is your ship. You can sail it across the 7 seas, or you can drive that sucker right into the rocks. Either way, God will let you do it. But make no mistake about it, you are the captain. So if you want truth, you go to the source of truth. You pick up the Bible and you read it and you trust it and you follow it. If you can't do that, which is, I suggest, is the problem here, you read something you disagree with your brain, so you've decided that you know better than God knows, and you went against it, calling yourself an atheist because it makes you look cool and have friends. Here's the problem. At the end of time, when you breathe your last breath and you close pointed that you didn't know a damn thing.
Correct.
As far as we're going to go today, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow, the next time we get together, not tomorrow, it'll be Wednesday. We'll go through video number 2. I've got 5. So we'll go this route as long as you want to. I've got 4 videos of him and 1 video of him in a debate with another guy, and I'd like to see how the other guy compares against him and add my own 2 cents. That'll be fodder for the next few videos, but there's that one. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's go back up here. Whoa! Happy, happy, happy. I hope you learned a thing or two. I hope you decided in your own heart to stop listening to morons, including the Bible, up and read it. You gotta use it. You understand? Get that book, pick it up, and learn something. Hey, Sunday and Monday, I'll read it to you. Come here Sunday at 8 o'clock sharp, and I will read it to you. And you can do everything I can do. I just did it longer. So if you want to lean on that, I'll be here for you. Hey, won't you do me a favor? Hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon so you get notifications of when I'm going to be here when my new videos drop. Smash that like button. It's free. It's right in front of you. It takes no effort at all, and it really does help the channel with the algorithms. Helps us get recommended to other people, and that's where the big bucks is, getting recommended to other people. So hit that like button before you leave. Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into our family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of their solutions, not part of their problems. Leave comments down below and let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform with me, drink my Kool-Aid, make your own Kool-Aid. Hey, as long as you're thinking critically, that's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And if you love what I'm doing here and you can dig what's happening and you'd like to contribute, you'd like to help out a little bit, help me change a flat tire or whatever, or just pat me on the back and say, hey, nice job, Jake. You can do that. Support me by going to paypal.me/JakeJohnsonBand. PayPal.me/JakeJohnsonBand. Every little bit helps. And if you're a Cash App user, you can go to $JakeJohnsonBand for the same effect. I appreciate it. It's a win-win. It's a blessing to me. It's a blessing to you too. God notices these things. Can you be answered? Knock and the door will be opened unto you. That's how this universe works. So please be a part of it and help out if you can. With that, I will take your questions and comments because this is Untethered Live and that's what we do here. What did you think? Did you enjoy it? Did you find yourself in awe? Do you lean towards Matt Dillahunty? Must always talk trash? And do I look like a hopelessly uneducated Neanderthal to you? Matt Dillahunty? Yeah, baby. Try that. Anagrams, ain't it cool? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean to you, Matt. I'm just trying to beat you up a little bit so you'll start thinking. Because in the way of the world, you get knocked down, you pick yourself back up again. That's how it works. And I'll be here to help you. I'll even lend a hand. You want to help? I'll help you up. Come to me, and I will teach you what you don't know. Or at least point you in the right. And if you're too proud to take a lesson from a young stud like myself. That being said, get it right and stop leading my people astray. I'd like to see you in heaven. I'd like to see them in heaven. That means you got to get... For God so loved this world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall have everlasting life and not perish. That's the only requirement, buddy. Everything else is just melee. It doesn't matter. April says, anyone here, please hit that like button. On the way out, it helps. Jake's channel, much love. It does help the channel, and it helps us get recommended. I'm a little dismayed at my cat video getting viral, but maybe that'll bring some folks to the channel. So we'll see. My cat video went viral. It's literally 15 seconds long. It's a cat in a hammock. That's it. Apparently, that's quite captivating. All this 30 years of knowledge being expelled vehemently on a bi-weekly basis doesn't seem to impress anybody. Hey, I can only do what I'm told to do, so I'm doing it. Anybody got any questions or comments about the video or about anything else for that matter? Criticisms, catharses? Take care, be safe. May God bless us all. Show some love. Feed Jake. Let's get this channel going again. Never stopped going. It's steadily plugging along at a very slow pace. But thank you. I need all the help I can get. Oh, we do need some new folks. We've only got 131 subscribers, and the people that watch religiously. I'm not complaining about that at all. We just need to invite some friends to come and watch with them. If my church is to be 25 people strong, so be it. But if God wants more, then he'll make more. See, one thing I pray about when I do this channel is that I've planted the seed, but God's got to make it grow. I can't go out and make it grow. I can't go out there and promote and push and beg people to come and make advertisements, because that'll turn me into a televangelist, just like those other guys that are on TV, and I don't want to be that. I want to be an RB that is to speak until someone listens. And if no one ever listens, then that's what God wanted. But if they start listening, that's what God wanted too. But it can't be what I want. This is a very precarious situation I'm in, because I can't push to make it work. I've just got to have faith that it will. And hope for the best and do my thing. So I'm going to do my thing. I love you, Jake. Gotta go now. I'm starving. Me too. Sunday love. All right. I love you too, and I'm going to get out of here also, because I'm also starving. I haven't eaten much today. So I'm going to get on. You're not that Jake. You're on the right path. Well, thank you. I hope so. I'm just doing what I do. I'm not trying to be a scam artist or a televangelist or anything like that. I'm just trying to teach. And that's what God told me to do, and I'm doing it. I hope that that's what, I mean, one of those 25 people may absolutely need what I'm laying down. And that's why God put me here to do it. Or it may be somebody in the future that hasn't even heard us yet. This will be here forever. So, you know, I'm doing what I do. Hey, when you guys go out into the world tomorrow, be nice to somebody. Help out. Show some love in this world and watch it change your life. Support the Jake Johnson channel, Untethered Live, or help a bum across the street, or, you know, carry somebody's groceries, or whatever it is. Just go out of your way to be nice to somebody and watch it change your life. I promise you it will. Do that and let your inner light shine. Everything you do proves that God's words are true. Everything. Every time you do it. So be in the battle. If you can't fight, carry bullets. If you can't carry bullets, Fund regime changes. Do something. You can be part of the battle. You can be part of the winning team. Read the end of the book. We win, folks. It's already set in stone. We just got to do the motions. Roll the motions. Play the part. Tarry. That's it. Until God gets back. Have a great night. I love you. I hope you had a good time tonight. I certainly did. Be peaceful. Be loving. Be honest. Be charitable. Be truthful. And above all, be worthy. Have a great night, and thanks for watching.